We are just one day away from this film's amazing finale, and I cannot wait. I'm very excited to see the ending, especially because the ending is going to shed new light on everything for us, and we could look at the first 16 episodes in a completely new perspective once we see what this ending is. But until then, I wanted to toss out some theories on what I feel the finale will contain. I want to cover some odds and ends. I want to cover what I think is going to happen with Sarah Palmer, what I think about the midpoint, and a general outline about what this event is going to be.
Hey, I'm G, and this is the G-Spot.
I think 4:30 is not a time. I think it refers to something else. Is Naido Diane? I think there's definitely a strong relationship between Naido and Diane, but we also cannot overlook the connection between Naido and Laura, which was given to us by the fireman in his message to Andy. So at this point, I don't think that Naido is Diane, but I do think there's a connection, but there's also a connection to Laura, which also leaves open the possibility that there's a connection to Audrey and Naido also. Naido may basically be some kind of vessel that has more than one person within it. The noise that we keep hearing, the last time we heard it was Bushnell in the hospital, is from a higher density leaking into ours. Another place we did hear this noise is we watch Jesse hear the noise in episode 6 in the sheriff's station, which supports that there is some kind of fifth dimensional thing going on in the sheriff's station, which relates to Diane's statement, "I'm in the sheriff's station," from episode 16. So we know Sarah Palmer has something inside her, and it looks pretty evil the way it killed the man at the bar. At the end of episode 2 is the first time we see Sarah, and we see her watching TV very intently. She can't take her eyes off the screen. Now on the screen is some lionesses taking a bull down. I believe it would be a bull. Maybe it's a different animal. I'm going to call it a bull. Now what we can note about this is lionesses are mothers taking care of their community. They're gathering food for their community. They're making sure their community survives. And then in the last seconds that we see of the TV shot, the bull gets flipped upside down. Now, once we see this bull get flipped upside down, it bears a striking resemblance to this. And if we notice, the bull's eyes even turn kind of like a greenish, weird color, like it's possessed by something. I feel this upside down bull is the closest thing we have seen resemble this. I do not believe the experiment resembles this. I think they're two different things. What I take from this whole scene with Sarah, these lionesses killing this bull, is that Sarah is going to be involved in taking this thing down. I think it matters that we're watching mothers take care of a pack or a community, and I think Sarah is going to offer some viciously violent help to Laura in this ultimate showdown. What is this ultimate showdown going to consist of? Well, for one, as I've said, this thing is going to show up. What is going to happen on the dates that we've been given is a gate or portal is going to open. It's going to allow this thing to travel from its density into ours. Now, from Hawk's statement to Frank, we know this thing is very bad and powerful. Hawk says to Frank, "You don't ever want to know about that." So it is by all means a force to be reckoned with. And I believe that a lot of the players that we have seen in Season 3 are hoping to gain power from it, or just completely destroy it. The event is in all likelihood going to take place at Owl Cave. That's probably where Diane's coordinates lead to. My second guess to where the event would take place would be above the falls outside of the Great Northern Hotel. Both of those places are significant to the fifth dimension and access to higher densities. We know Owl Cave is significant from Season 2 of Twin Peaks, and then the Secret History of Twin Peaks mentions the Falls and Owl Cave as both being significant places for fifth dimension activity. We are watching an 18-hour long film. Now there's three things that every film has, and it doesn't matter what film we're talking about, even Lynch films, Tarantino films, Spielberg films, unless it's a real experimental crazy kind of film, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Each of these things, the beginning, the middle, and the end, serve a purpose. The beginning is the introduction. The end is the resolution. and the middle is the enlightenment. Now, what we mean by the middle being the enlightenment is two different things. One, once you get to a midpoint in a film, all of the basic aspects that the audience has to know about should be on the table. There shouldn't be any major aspects of your story hidden. Now, that doesn't mean that there's some secret ending or a twist ending or a couple more characters won't appear, but the major aspects of your story need to be exposed by the midpoint. The other thing that the midpoint serves for is if the writer-director want to express a certain opinion, the midpoint is really the only chance they have to get up on their soapbox and express a personal opinion. For example, if you wanted to indicate that using weapons of mass destruction was a bad choice by mankind, you would indicate that at the midpoint, because that's you getting up on your soapbox, sharing an opinion with your audience. Now, when we look at season 3 of Twin Peaks, the midpoint is obviously episode 8. This is the episode where we were given that opinion, and it's also the episode where a lot of the story was flushed out, and this makes episode 8 the midpoint. My big problem with episode 8 being the midpoint is it's not the midpoint. Episode 9 should be the midpoint. And so ever since I've seen episode 8, I've been asking myself, why did the midpoint come early? Why didn't it come at episode 9 where it should have fallen? But now as we get closer to the finale, and there are so many questions left, and I don't believe we're going to get every little question that we have answered. I'm quite certain that many questions will be left unanswered. There's so many questions we need answered, and I keep asking myself, how are they going to do it in 2 episodes? Just the whole thing with Ruth Davenport, the glass box, where were the security guards? The conclusion that I have come to is that episode 17 is going to be about events that occurred before episode 1. That we are going to go back in time, see events that occur before episode 1, get some of those questions answered, understand where we are better in episode 16, and then episode 18 will actually be the resolution of the film. So I think we're going to get 2 very different episodes. One that actually is the beginning of the film, and the second one which will actually be the ending of the film. Don't forget they are running a marathon on Sunday, running parts 1 through 16 before the final 2 series. Enjoy the finale. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.